Peace, grand risings. So I'm gonna start to do these fairly regularly, and I'm gonna try to break them up into, 15-minute sets, right? So that it's easy to digest, and I can kind of make a point and elaborate on it, and then move on, right? I don't want to toilet paper the world with words. I don't want to just splatter words to the world. It should be targeted. It should be focused. Yeah. So again, I could be crazy. I could be completely wrong. And in some cases, this is why I do these. Tell me, tell me if I'm crazy in the comment section. You go ahead and let me know. But me personally, if a child molester wrote in a journal and described the way that I should live my life, I would not put any stock into what that person wrote. Whatever that person wrote would not be nuggets by which I would live my life, right? I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't put any credence into the writings, the thinkings, the musings of a child molester, right? Here we live in a nation where the Constitution is written by a man that began raping Sally Hemings at the age of 13 years old, right? She gave birth to a child, and Thomas Jefferson held his offspring as a slave until the day he died. Until the day he died. Again, me personally, the words of a child molester are not worthy to be repeated in my mind. I would not repeat them. I believe they are a poison among the masses and could only have deleterious effect. So I would not repeat the words of a child molester. Okay. Furthermore, I would not, I would not have gone to sacred ground and built in soaring stone a monument to this child molester and rapist. I wouldn't do that, right? In talk it through a little bit. Think it through a little bit. I can overlook the child molestation. Why? Because this dude could bake a good pie? Like, what possible redeemable quality could anyone demonstrate that would serve to diminish the deplorable nature of child molestation? What could do that? Right? So, again, that's just me, right? That's a personal thing. That's not how this nation thinks, clearly. Okay. But the question then becomes, if you have a nation that glorifies human traffickers, monsters, child molesters, rapists, and they practice the most abhorrent attributes as if they are virtue. Let me tell you something. I'm going to tell you something. The most afflicted people in the United States of America today, the most afflicted people in the United States of America today are white people. Absolutely. This was a crime of commission and omission. It was committed to us. It was omitted from them. Okay. It doesn't take much time. If you engage in conversation, you very quickly see the disconnect. You very quickly see the lack of their connecting humanity to you and your people. They dismiss these things and they overlook them. But how? What justification could you possibly use to overlook a child molester? Let's flash forward to 2020. Look at the society. Look at the moral barometer of this society. What is most common here today? See, I expect in my lifetime that the energy that I put out will come back to me. This is why I'm very careful in relation to how I spend my energy, because I know if I put it out, it's coming back, right? So I take great care in my interactions, in my expressions, in those things that I will do and put into being. I take great care, and it's simply the way that the natural law works. It will come back. Look at this society. You know, my father went to World War II and fought to bring freedom to another people. And when he returned, he was injured in the war. When he returned, he wasn't given the home loans that these immigrants were given that also fought. He was given heroin for his pain, right? He was given heroin to deal with his pain. And so, and again, that's World War II, right? That's going back to World War II. Okay. So today, you look at the opioid crisis, right? And you wonder, you get the Home Alone face. Where does this come from? Yeah, it's energy coming back around. You spent it. You spent that energy. It's coming back. Malcolm said the chicken's coming home to roost. It's a natural process. You put it out there, it's coming back. So they thought that the poison and the apathy and the disconnection and the hatred that they embraced, cultivated, passed down, and kept like a virtue, they thought that they would be able to spend that energy in our homes, right? I hate hearing my people say the word our community. That was never your community. That's a shanty that's been painted. That's what it is. That ain't your community. You don't own nothing. They can evict you from it. That ain't your nothing, right? This is a place where they can go find you when they want you, is what it is. So they came and they dropped and deposited the absolute worst onto our communities, and then they whitewashed it, right? Whitewashed it and painted over it, and now they sell the world the idea that they are this unified, compassionate, you know, hardworking, diligent, empathetic, compassionate society. But that never happened. That never happened. You have a 400-year history where love, compassion, empathy, and these higher attributes are barren. They don't exist. They are not practiced in any appreciable form to any black, brown, red, or yellow person that has entered into these borders within the last 400 or 500 years. Not practiced. All of these attributes that they like to put on like a hat, they ain't got no demonstration. The only people that maintained the highest attributes, the only people that maintained those attributes were our family. We were the ones that maintained compassion. We were the ones that maintained empathy. We were the ones that maintained love. We were the ones that maintained connectedness. Were it not for a Huey P. Newton, a Malcolm X, a Martin Luther King, these people were absolutely and completely comfortable with the hatred that they had produced and embraced in their families for 400 years. They were completely comfortable with the apathy. So now we look throughout the society and you see the ills in the society. You see human trafficking still happening in the society. You see the diminished value of womanhood and women in this society. You see children being turned out early on. And again, you get the Home Alone face. And in a vacuum, these things might seem to be isolated, right? These things might simply seem to be the act of one dejected individual. It is not. There is not one human anywhere that can be extricated from the history that produced them. You cannot be extricated from the history that produced them. So what they want to do is they want to take the last 50 years and put up a great big banner of unified, and we're we're moral and we're humane, and they want to put this banner up for the world and tell the world this is us. You're a damn liar. You're a damn liar. The reason that I'm inconvenient to this nation, the reason that they don't want me here, is because I'm the only one in this nation that can tell the truth. The Lithuanian ain't going to tell you. If you ask the Lithuanian man, when were the good old days in America, they're going to give you an answer. They're going to give you an answer because from their perspective, when they got here, right, it was better than what they left. And so everything going forward was gravy. To them, this was awesome. Ask the Italian, when were the good old days? Oh, they'll tell you awful stories about coming to Ellis Island and how bad it was for an immigrant and everybody was named Tony. And they'll tell you these different things, but they will be actually able to say, these are what I consider the good old days. Ask the Irish, ask the Hungarian, ask the Uzbekistani. I love saying Uzbekistan. Ask any of these, ask the Greeks, ask the Eastern Europeans, ask them when were the good old days in American history. And each and every single one of those groups will be able to tell you a time from their perspective that they consider to be the good old days. But that is only because they have a slice of American history. They're not telling you what it cost in order to produce the accommodations that they've come and they've enjoyed. They have no idea. They have no reference point. So again, I say it is a crime of commission and a crime of omission. They don't know, right? But let me tell you something. When I speak, and I generally don't speak much about anyone else, right? I speak about us, right? But when I speak, and if they should hear, most commonly what happens is in their mind, what they hear is a whiner. They hear a victim saying, poor me, poor me. What they don't hear, what they fail to hear, is that I came through. Bruh, if I take off my shirt, I'm 53 years old. I came through. I survived it. We survived it. We survived the worst chapters in human history, and we stand firm today. I ain't no whiner. I'm triumphant. I'm victorious. I'm the one you don't want to see on the battlefield, right? So what we are is not whiners. What we are is harbingers. We're the only one that can actually tell the truth. And the problem is that our voices have been thrown into the melting pot. So we stand around saying, oh, Bernie, oh, Booty Judge, he's got the great answers. And, oh, maybe Bloomberg is going to solve our problem. So we stand around and throw our voice into a melting pot and act like, and here's what the problem is because we've become so dehumanized that we dehumanize ourselves. We don't say the actual words. We don't say freedom anymore. So they just simply assume that you're okay. You're comfortable with this. They don't acknowledge the fact that for 275 years, they molested and bred every single innocent 13-year-old girl until the point where she could no longer reproduce in order to be able to create the economy that allowed the poor, tired, huddled masses with nothing but shirts on their backs to come into this nation and find accommodation. Every single one of them is here based on the breeding of humans, of our family. And they don't mention that. That's not a big deal to them. They don't think about it. And what's even worse is it's not a damn big deal to you. You don't say it. You don't say it. And so as a result of that, they think everything is fine and they go forward. The last 50 years is all that matters, not the 350 preceding them, right? That's what the last 50 years is what they want to use to define themselves based on what you forced on their parents. That's how they use history. They don't look anywhere further. And worse than that is the fact that you don't force them. You dehumanize yourself by overlooking everything that has happened to come to the conclusion that you're an American. You ain't no damn American. You ain't no damn American. You are the only one that did not come here voluntarily. How the hell you become an American? I move a turkey from Africa into North America. Does it become a pigeon? How are you an American? See, again, my family fought in every single war. Every single war. How would you call yourself by the name of those that produce the condition that your children are currently suffering under? And you're going to take that name for what? For what? For some perceived benefit? Because they told you that if you take this, you'll be better? Man, there got to come a day where we determine that freedom is more important than those promises, right? We have to stop reaching for that golden carrot. I don't want to be associated or considered in the same light as a people that think a child molester is perfectly okay. I don't, that's not me. There's nothing in me that believes that a child molester can write any words and those words are worthy of my follow. Thomas Jefferson said, I tremble for my country when I fear that God is just and his justice cannot sleep forever. What did that man mean? What did that man mean? He knew what he did. He knew what he was. And he said, I tremble for my country when I fear God is just and his justice cannot sleep forever. I close up and I say, if you've got a nation of people that glorify child molesters, human traffickers, rapists, murderers, and the worst sort, then what you will have as common in your society is going to be child molesters, rapists, murderers, liars, and people of the worst sort. It's what you're building. That's the template that you're using. Your role model is a monster. So what is it going to produce in your society? Apathetic monsters. That's what it will produce. Peace.